Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever a fighter in UFC or in MMA in general starts to look really dominant in their division, the fans immediately go into something I would like to call the blindfolded syndrome. It's like a guy who just fell in love with a girl and she said yes to go out with him, and he's so happy that he's not seeing any red flags in her. This just happens to almost every dominant fighter in UFC, that people just refuse to see any type of weakness in the fighter. There is simply no way that anyone can beat him. Unfortunately, Ilia Topuria is in that state when it comes to fan perception. They really talk about him like he's simply, I mean, jokes aside, like people really think that Ilia Topuria can go into welterweight and decimate everyone there. Bro, Carlos Prates is like 6'3", 6'4", I think. Ilia Topuria is 5'6", maybe. The fuck is he supposed to do to a Carlos Prates? What is he supposed to do to a Michael Morales? Like, people really absolutely cannot see any type of weakness because they are so immersed in the level of skill, and I think that is kind of doing uh, a disservice, and they are not really properly respecting how Ilia Topuria is addressing his weakness in every fight. And here I would like to take this time to show you that yes, there are weaknesses to his games, and not only there are weaknesses to his games, he also constantly addresses them in the fights. I know that the thumbnail is kind of clickbait bait with the invincible hype. When I say hype for Ilia Topuria, it's obviously not in the same level of when you say hype to a Paddy Pimblett. Like, the levels is completely different when you call Ilia Topuria hype. But there is a certain amount of hype that's hiding the vulnerabilities of Ilia Topuria. And why he's so good is because he is also constantly addressing them in his fights when people try to exploit these weaknesses. Let's start with the most obvious one. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're God himself. If you come into an octagon and you're fighting with a boxing stance, lead foot heavy stance, the leg kick is there. It does not matter who you are. The leg kicks will be difficult to defend from this stance. You really cannot check it. You really can, because you're gonna be too slow with the stance this wide, and you cannot really pick it up because your weight is there. But again, no, when I say that Ilia Topuria is so good because he also punishes when opponents try to exploit his weaknesses, we can look at the Alex Volkanovski fight. Volkanovski, who is someone that is very well known for his leg kicks, fights Ilia Topuria and lands leg kicks. So what does Ilia Topuria do? He sees Alex Volkanovski going to his, like, rotating to his to Topuria's power side. He waits for him to step foot onto his lead leg, put all this weight into this leg, and then times the leg kick perfectly, spins him around, hurts him, and now Topuria is asking the question, okay, you are hurting my leg, I am hurting your leg, let's see who falls down first. And again, this was something that he did it against Max Holloway, and the really impressive thing is the timing of it. And just like Justin Gaethje, Justin Gaethje is also very similar in this. When it comes to this, he's so good at offensive leg kicks, but doesn't really like defend it. And he has same type of mentality where you throw leg kick, I throw a leg kick. Let's see who falls down first. The next thing that I really believe that something where somewhere where Ilia Topuria is not really comfortable in is the clinch, like the thigh control, the body locks. I don't really think he really likes to be in this type of position. So when Volkanovski gets here, Top, again, Volkanovski is not really someone who's known for clinch fighting. He's not really Islam Makhachev or a Charles Oliveira. But Volkanovski puts him here. Topuria lands a couple of body shots. But again, it's also hard to bring in a lot of leverage when you are controlling the shoulder and the body. So it's a really good position for Volkanovski where the risk to reward is really good for Volkanovski. So when Topuria tries to throw the body, go to the body, Volkanovski returns the favor, try to go for the with the knee to the body, and then again turns him around. When Topuria again tries to go to the body, tries to go upstairs now, but his timing was off, so Ilia Topuria was able to escape this here. And as I said, he is not really a clinch fighter. So how did it look like when a clinch fighter got to this type of position against Ilia Topuria? We have Charles Oliveira when he tries to get into a clinch. Now this is a tall fighter who has devastating knees, fights really well in clinch, has elbows here, has shots like strikes here. He can punish your exit, he can take you down. Now the level of danger is so significant. Topuria does not want to stay here. He is panicking here. He was like, okay, panicking is maybe the wrong word, but he is trying to leave this position urgently. And he was able to um, slip his head under Oliveira's arm at this time. But when Oliveira shot and get him to the clinch in the against the fence, what does Topuria try to do? Tries to hit him in the head, and Charles Oliveira uses this time to get a better head position and goes a heavy, nasty knee to the body. Look at Ilia Topuria's face here. So he immediately tries to fight the underhook and try to escape, but again, as we all know, Charles Oliveira tries to take him down. Topuria reverses it and then escapes. But the clinch happens again. So Ilia Topuria starts with like a combo, like a right-left combo. Um, Oliveira is like, okay, this is too much. I'm gonna get a body lock. Gets the body lock. Topuria is trying to push him away as much as he can. Could not really do it. Couldn't do it. Oliveira lands a knee again to the body. Tries to escape again. Cannot let go of Oliveira's grip. And he is kind of panicking in my opinion. So much urgency to get out of here at any cost that he goes off balance. But luckily, Oliveira was also slightly off balance here. He was not in a perfect position to just follow him around within the clinch, and he makes himself off balance so much that he almost drags Oliveira with him. So Oliveira lets go of the grip. Topuria did not escape here. He just was off balance, and Oliveira didn't want to fall down, so he let go of his grip. Obviously, after this, he immediately slapped Oliveira. But again, that's what Topuria does when an opponent tries to exploit his weakness. He tries to find a solution for it, and some of these weaknesses do play into Justin Gaethje's game, like the clinch. I think the top two clinch fighters are Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje. Now that Islam Makhachev is not anymore in lightweight and has become the champion in welterweight. So this is something that Justin Gaethje can really take advantage of, especially if he can get him to the fence. I'm not saying he's gonna beat Ilia Topuria, but this is some places where Justin Gaethje can find some success. Now to the third weakness that we have seen with Ilia Topuria, I think his bottom game is kind of awful. I don't think I think a lot of his training does come. I mean, because of his wrestling, I don't think he really like spends a lot of time here. He is always very well to find his hips and then try to get into a scramble or a better position, but if you can get him here, I don't think he is gonna be like that safe. And I would not be making this as a weakness in his game if his potential future opponents aren't Arman Sarukian, Islam Makachev, and maybe even a Charles Oliveira rematch with how things are going. So what does Ilia Topuria do? Ilia Topuria gets his guard back and see what Bryce Mitchell is doing here. Gets control of Topuria's wrist at 29 seconds. And what does Ilia Topuria do here? Tries to hammer fist Bryce Mitchell here. So Bryce simply pulls his head back, misses his hand. Look at how open he is right now. You do this against an Arman Sarukian, he's gonna do reconstruction surgery on your face. And the worst part about this thing is that he didn't even like bring his arm immediately afterwards. It took him like a second to bring it. You give 1 second to Arman Sarukian in this position, he's gonna fracture your face. And the even worse part about this position is that it's now 25 seconds, so it's almost 5 seconds, and his wrist is still being controlled by Bryce Mitchell. This he hasn't really addressed it here, and then a second later he like tries it and then gets it back. But you cannot be in a position like this for 6 seconds against an Arman Sarukian. Now on to the next one, which is the curse of a boxing heavy fighter in the UFC, which is the single guard against a head kick. There are so many victims to this. Dustin Poirier is one of them. Volkanovski is one of them. And this is exactly why I really think Islam Makhachev will have an easy night against Ilia Topuria, because he basically has to do the same game plan as the second Volkanovski fight. If Islam Makhachev lands like 2 flush head kicks like this position, he's going to break Ilia Topuria's hand. And if that happens, then Ilia Topuria is done. There is nothing, he is not going to be like throwing kicks, keeping distance and stuff. This is the main weapon. If this goes away, all of the other games of Ilia Topuria is simply gone. But the worst thing is, this he defends head kicks at least with one hand when he is being defensive, when he's not going forward, when he's not throwing combinations. It gets much worse when he is like on the offense and gets countered with it. Look at where his arm is. This is because he wants to have full leverage to his overhand and his right hand, the shot strikes from his right hand. This is not something that can only happen with a head kick actually. That's the problem with it. I really believe that anything that comes in a curve in this direction, when Ilia Topuria is going forward, will catch him. And what do I mean by that? I mean like a lead left hook or even a rare left hook from a southpaw fighter. Max Holloway, if you go back and watch this fight, he kept hitting him with left hooks. Bam, left hook, bam, left hook, bam, left hook, bam, left hook, bam, left hook. And all of this is in the first round. I really think he does not see the left hooks as well as he does with his other punches. Might be some kind of a blind side for him. And again, Max Holloway is not throwing like naked left hooks either, so there is context to it. So he's countering Ilia Topuria's kicks with left hooks, and he's catching him clean every time, using it as a counter when Ilia is being aggressive. He is still quite good where he tucks his chin behind his shoulder, but his temple is like really, really open. Pound for pound, Alex Pereira would obliterate Ilia Topuria. It's like tailor made for an Alex Pereira, man. Ironically, left hook is also how Max Holloway got finished, and this is what I mean with Topuria, that he will ask a different question when the opponent is trying to exploit his weakness. Justin Gaethje doesn't really have like a proper left hook. His power hand is also his right hand, and the clinch and the leg kick is where I think Justin Gaethje is gonna find some of his success, especially if he can pressure him. And I also think that because of the way Justin Gaethje throws his right hand, it doesn't really like come as a straight hand or like a hooking shot, but he like goes in like a parabola, more or less. Like it goes from up to like it's like an overhand, but like a it has a short peak and then a long slope, basically, for anyone who was like well into maths and stuff. So may because Topuria does the front defense is his shoulder. So maybe it's possible that Justin Gaethje's like the right hand might give some problems because of the angle of it, but it's hard for me to say, man. We have to just see it. Now, for the last one, in my opinion, hand fighting, I think Topuria doesn't like it either. His success was more when he was hand fighting. And this is also, I think, makes Ilia Topuria uncomfortable. And Max Holloway is very decent when it comes to hand fighting. Like Volkanovski and Max Holloway are really good when it comes to hand fighting. And he found a lot of success when he was doing it. And again, it shows how good Ilia Topuria is because the finishing sequence started because Topuria took advantage of it. So he feints a jab. Max Holloway tries to like parry it because that's what he was doing. He was trying to parry it or like try to hand fight here. And Topuria fakes this to come up with a left hook, which doesn't really land. And Max Holloway was also switching stance at this time to go this direction and gets dinged flat in the nose and just hurt from here, and it was game over from there. He will be fighting Justin Gaethje soon, and I do think there are some areas where Justin Gaethje will give problems to him. But can he win? I am not really sure, man. The odds are really against Justin Gaethje, but with a really good game plan, I do think there are positions where he will have success. Even when you are elite of the elite, you can still have weakness, and that's what makes someone so great. Topuria is not great because he doesn't have weakness, but he is great despite of having weaknesses. And this applies to everyone, like an Alexander Volkanovski, like an Islam Makhachev, like a Charles Oliveira. This applies to a lot of fighters, GSP, because if you don't see the weaknesses, then you cannot really appreciate how they are addressing it. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and I will be making also another video on Alex Pereira Cyril Gane stylistic matchup next week. So I will be seeing you guys in that video.